Thank you, Gary, for agreeing to do this.
Yes.
One of our first few episodes of the Guin Huddle. You and I met about, I think, almost 3 years ago,
Yeah.
after we first signed our second artist to Guin, and eventually ended up working closely together at Guin. And you're now our head of A&R and label relations, and you also founded your own management company, The Herd.
Man,
Uh,
sheesh.
yeah. So I guess to start it off, how did you get into music and why did you get into music?
Man, it's so fun. I feel like every time I answer this question, I give a different answer, and like I'm not lying.
Mhm,
I'm not telling like a different story, like a round story. So I always remember like how further it goes back.
mhm.
I think for me, like I feel like sometimes it be inside your subconscious. I guess like for me, my mom was actually like a reggae singer, and I forget that my mom was in like a whole band. I used to live in
Mhm.
this giant house with all these musicians like that. Like they playing drums all night, like literally rehearsing all day. And I remember during that era of my life, I might have been like maybe 6 or 7, 8, I don't know. But I remember that whole time, all I used to do was like eat cashews and just watch my mom rehearse. Like that's all I did. And
Mhm.
then like growing up, my dad was inside of jail most of my life. But when I finally met him, I realized he was also an artist as well. Like I always heard that he was a singer, he was a rapper, he was all these things. And to my surprise, he's like a very good singer, very good rapper. And I was like, what? And my dad used to run around with like Snoop Dogg and all them. And like, I remember I had like Nate Dogg come to like my like birthday party before when I was younger. And I'm
Oh, wow.
like, when I look back, I'm like, wow, I've been around music my whole life and didn't realize it. So it's like now when I do it now, it's like, wow, like I'm damn, like it's kind of like I always be like, I never thought I would do music. But then when I
Mhm.
look back, I'm like, my whole life, everything shows that I was going to be in music somehow. Like somehow, some way. Even when I was in school, like I remember I was going to community colleges. I went to like 7 of them. I went for like one semester, got the financial aid, left. But, but I
Fun.
went. But I went. So I think if I went to like 6, 7, I think that's like 3 semesters fully, 4 or 5 semesters. I went for the 3 semester each. So I'm kind of,
We figured it out and yeah,
yeah,
good
kind of
job.
figured it out.
Yeah.
But
Did you study music or what did you study?
when I was in school, man, when I was in school, I was actually going to school. My major was journalism.
Hmm.
Because I was heavy into like writing. I mean, if you ask me, I thought I was just gonna be a poet.
Right.
By the time I got to like school, like college, I was like, I'm gonna be a poet. I'm gonna be like a journalist. And it was like I think I was at Santa Monica College, or I was at no, I went from Santa Monica to like El Camino. By the time I got to El Camino College, I remember like I was always a great writer my whole life. Like for some reason, like when I was younger, I hit like a crossroads where it was like either I'd be good in math or I'd be good in English. My
Mhm.
grandma was like a math teacher, and she like tutored me in math, and I was like knowing algebra 2 in like 5th grade, or like I was like super good in math, but then I was
Wow.
like super terrible in like everything else. So I was like, okay, I'm good at math. Let me focus on English, and then I just forgot everything else that was not English. Um,
Right.
but I would always like write like an essay, and then all the teachers in school would like pass around the whole school and like, look at this essay Gary wrote. But yeah, when I was in college, I was a being journalist, and one of the moments that stood out to me was one time I was trying to write for the company called Bleacher Report, which is like now one of the biggest like journalism apps. And I remember I just applied for it while I was in school. Like I think about 3rd week or 4th week of school, I applied for it, and they just, oh, your write sample's great. Like start writing, you're hired. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
huh? And it kind of fucked me up because I'm like, I'm in school with all these other people that are trying to be journalists. And everyone's trying to like learn how to like write like an inverted pyramid. You write with like the bulk and make a great headline, all this stuff. And
Right.
I'm like, I'm just doing it naturally. And one day
Mhm.
I asked my professor, like, yo, so like, kind of like, what's the point of me having a degree in this? You know what I mean? Because it's writing. It's like, what's the point of having a degree? And he was like, honestly, there is no point. Like, if you're a good writer, you're a good writer. Just go get the job. Then they're not going to ask you what's your degree. They're going to ask you to see your work, and if they like your work, they're going to hire you. And I was like, so my mom, he's not knowing. I'm like, I already got offered this job right now. Oh, I'm out of here. I just stopped going. So I just stopped going. So I'm done. Like I already made it. Like I'm already getting the jobs. Y'all need school, not me. I'm gone. And that was my college stuff. So I was in school for like actual journalism, and because journalism, it got me into photography. Because like I was so like, I want to write my own articles and I want to take my own pictures. I don't want to use those pictures off of like this Getty Images or go on Google. I want to take all my own photos. I was like so like do it myself.
Do it all yourself.
Yeah. So then I got a camera, and then the moment I got a camera, out of nowhere, everybody was like, you should take photos. You should be a photographer. I'm like, huh? And all my friends were artists. They're like, oh, come shoot me over here. And actually, no, I'm shooting them. I'm shooting cover arts. I'm shooting inside the strip club. I'm shooting over here. I'm shooting everywhere. But I'm getting paid the day. I'm like, hold up. I just made like 150, 200, 300 today, 400 today. And I'm looking at journalism. I'm like, I'm not really making nothing writing these articles or trying to write. Oh, so then I stopped doing journalism. I was like, well, photography it is. And that just kept evolving. I kept being around artists, like no matter what, that being a photographer pulled me away from writing again. And I got more into taking pictures for artists and then more work for artists. And now I'm doing like, not knowing I'm doing like marketing and rollouts to take this picture and do it this way because it does this. I'm just like, yeah, it just kept snowballing. And over time, I just always been doing music my whole life, like somehow, some way. But it makes sense now when I basically look back at it now.
Right. All led to, all kind of was rooted in music, I guess, at some point. And then how did you get into management?
Oh man, management is like, I always say this because people like I always have the younger managers come and ask me, and they're like, "Your inspiration," and like, I want to be like you, and I'm like, man, like, they always ask me, like, how did I get into it? And the only answer I can tell them is that like, I didn't choose to be in management. I never chose to be a manager. Like I never was like, you know what, I'm going to be a manager. No way, no way. But I think in most things in life, when it comes to leadership, even when you watch movies or maybe some shows, and granted, these all being other things are like fictional, but I feel like most leaders just happen to be like the loudest person, the people just trust. And I was always just that person. So everybody looked at me for guidance, and I was the person that just didn't care to share his opinion. So inadvertently, I just became a manager without knowing it. People were like, "Oh, you're a manager." I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, even though I was managing artists for a long time, doing everything for them and doing all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just helping them out. Like, I'm just a homie. Like, I never viewed myself as like an actual manager. And it wasn't until Trav, who is the co-founder of the Herd, of the Herd with me. I met Trav, and how I met Trav is nuts because I met Trav through his girlfriend, well now wife, but I knew her first. And one day I was at UCLA. I just have this thing. Almost every girl I dated was at UCLA for a time in my life. I don't know how. To the point where people think I went there because I was there so much. But that's a whole other thing. But I was there and I saw this guy performing, and I was like, I like him. I'm like, I wanna work with this guy. And I said it out loud, I guess. I was just in my head. And Trav's wife's right next to me. And she was like, no, you're not. That's my man's artist. I was like, who's your man? Who is he? I don't care who that is. And she was like, no way, you're not about to steal his artist. I'm like, I don't know him. I don't care. So she like made sure that me and him met. So I couldn't do it. Yeah, she made sure. And I met him. He was really cool. And I was like, oh, dope. Like, whatever, was cool. And then fast forward, Trav's the first person to come to me. He was like, yo, like, can I be your assistant? Can I like work under you? And I was like, what are you talking about? First and foremost, like, I come from like, at this time, I'm probably homeless still. Like, I grew up homeless, by the way. That's like a short thing. I grew up homeless like basically like 14, 15 till like my whole life. So that also would have me be around artists because I was always somewhere in the studio or somewhere. But through that, Trav wanted to work under me, and I just couldn't understand it. I'm like, yo, you go to UCLA, you come from a good family, you're getting a whole education. Like, you're going to school for music business, and like you're asking me to work under me. This sounds crazy. Like it fucked me up. I was like, no, this guy's nuts. And he used to always ask me. He used to always ask me. I was like, nah, we could like talk or work. I don't know. We can't. We're not. I'm not doing that. And then one day we always like kept in like contact. Trav ran like a radio show, and I used to always help him put artists on like a radio show. Like, I like helped Trav radio show blow up. Trav had a radio show, but I knew all the artists. So I would just sneak Trav artists, and Trav was like doing numbers, like his show's blowing up. Everyone's like, "Yo, how you know all these artists?" I'm like sneaking them all these artists just because I knew them all. And it's kind of like damn, like being an A&R now. I just happen to know all the artists.
Right.
Like, here you go. And that made me and him closer. I think actually my first interview might have been with Trav. My first like on the air interview might have been with Trav. But through that connection, that made me like trust him and feel more like comfortable with him. And then one day, like, actually my ex actually came up with a name to her actually. And we had a very creative relationship. I used to like give her names for stuff. She should name stuff. She should name like my stuff. And one day she came up with the idea of the herd, and she had a joke like, "Could you manage the goats?" And I was like, oh, "That's kind of hard." And then one day I just came to Trav, and I was like, "Yo, Trav, like, let's just start a company, and it's gonna be the herd." And he was like, "What? All right." And then we started working together, and then we made like the LLC like maybe like a year later. And I remember even that moment was like so precious because even when we were making it, I remember Trav asking me like, "Yeah, so what's my role? Do I have like a quota, or are you want me to be this role?" I'm like, "No, it's half. It's me and you." He was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro. Like, what? Like, I'm not doing this without you, you know." And that's kind of how I view him, and I view like the company. Like, I wouldn't be a manager if it wasn't for Trav believing in me and wanting to work with me, under me, to make me take myself that serious. Because like he took me so serious, I was like, okay, I have to be a manager, I guess. And that's kind of how I got into management for sure. Yeah.
That's a great point. And so why did you choose the name The Herd?
So my ex had this joke. My ex had this joke, and like me and her we're together for like 5.5 years. So we were a very like creative couple. All we did, even to our like very last days being together, it was like business, this and this ideas. That's all we did. Like, people wouldn't even think we were together because all we did was talk about just like ideas. That's all we did.
Right.
And one day we had a event, and I like named the event. And then I guess like one day she came to me and she was like, "Oh, I have like a name for you." And she said The Herd, and I was like, "Huh?" And she was like, "You and your little baby goats." Because she said whenever I used to have all these artists at like a freaking young age, like I've had Malaku since Malaku was like, I don't know, 19. Like, I knew Malaku my whole life. A lot of his artists I've worked with like very early on. So for me, and that's why The Herd is like so serious, because like all my artists I've known, like I've seen them develop as people. Like, forget the music, develop as like as a person. Like, even seeing their like mannerisms change and how they make eye contact and how they even hold conversations. I'm like seeing all that. Like, I remember when you couldn't even like. I remember when like Malaku couldn't even talk loud because his voice is so deep, and he couldn't even talk as loud. Yeah, people still say, "Yo, he's still so low," but I'm like, man, y'all don't know how low it used to be. So she used to make that joke.
Like, developing like the artists that you've been working with.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between me and a lot of other managers. I think a lot of other managers, they come in on like the business end. It's like, yo, if it's making money, I'm here. If it's not, it's not. And for me, it's like I want these people to be successful no matter what. It's beyond music with me, and we're going to try to make sure the music is the reason why you get successful. But if this music don't work out, best believe I'm going to find something else that I'm going to include you in that's going to pay you, but you're going to be good. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you trusting me with your damn near life and like career. So the least I could do is make sure that your life pans out in a way that I could like also sleep at night. So for me, that's kind of how I got into it. But yeah, she said that she's always like she's always like, "You and your little like fucking baby goats, like you and little baby goats." And then I was like, "Damn," and she was like, "Yeah, The Herd." And I was like, "Wow." And then the logo I kind of came up with this artist named Jessie Jumanji. She's like a great, like, she does a bunch of crazy like collages. She's crazy. She has a thing where she can look at somebody's face, and she'll look at your face, Misha, and she'll find somebody else who looks exactly like you from 1,000 years ago, and
Wow.
she'll make a collage and be like, "This is your ancestor," and she'll just do it. Like, and it's not like a database of like she does like a cross reference. She just does it all the time, and like she's gone viral for doing it. Like almost every year, she goes viral and like blows up for it. And one
Oh,
day, I was like, "Yo," like people kept making me logos, and I wasn't doing them. And I was like, "I want it simple. I want it like just like this, like a triangle on this." And she was like, "Oh, like this." And then I was like, "Oh, yeah." She made literally my logo in like 5 minutes. And I
wow.
was like, "Wow, that's the logo, which is right here."
Yep.
Uh,
Love it. Yeah.
she made the logo in like 5 minutes. I was like, "Wow, thank God." But yeah, that's kind of how the herd got started, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the baby origin story for sure.
Yeah. And how do you like separate being a friend versus a manager to the artist that you manage? Because
Man,
obviously you've known them for so long. How do you yeah.
I think right now that's still my toughest. I think that's still my toughest battle.
Mhm.
But I will say, what's allowed me to speak more as a manager sometime and less as a friend has been honestly Gwen has helped a lot. Just in my development as a man and like growing up and um, just even be able to afford certain stuff. Like I'm not at a point where I can afford more responsibilities and I can afford to take care of certain things. And I think it's one thing of being a friend and helping out with stuff. It's one thing when you're like providing financially for like certain stuff. And I think with that, a different level of like respect comes and just like knowing when to draw the line. Because there was a moment where I was just paying for everything for everybody in general. And that was because like, I come from like not ever having anything. So anything to me, like $100 means a lot. So I'm like, oh yeah, I can
Mhm.
live off $100. I can live off $100 for a week, 2 weeks. Some people like can do that in like 2 days. They're like, oh, they're broke. I'm like, I don't know how. But that's just like, I was raised to like not have much, so I can make everything stretch. So when I started getting money, um, I started like giving it away, like here, 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 here.
Mhm.
And I think through that, I went through a period of like, damn, I'm doing a lot, and then I had to like stop. And once I stopped, I feel like that's when like I guess real life and like adulthood kicked in. It was like, okay, like I'm your friend, I'm your manager, but I'm nobody's like bank. I can't be everybody's bank. Um,
Right.
and if you need me, I got you. But I can't be your first line of like defense. You know what I mean? Like I'm the person you call like shit's about to end. I'm like the police. Like you only call the police when it's terrible, not
Yeah.
at like the first chance somebody look at you crazy. I'll call the cops. You call the cops when something crazy happens. So like when something crazy happened, call me. I got you, but don't do that. And I think once I made that break between like, yo, I'm not someone you can just call for anything and everything. That's
Mhm.
when the friendships started to change, but it started to foster my growth as it was starting to foster their growth as well. Like, for example, like we used to all talk every single day, all day, every day. We're friends.
Yeah.
Now it's like I might not talk to Locke for like 2 weeks. So I
Mhm.
might talk to Vic for a week. Me and Vic can live in the same house and not cannot talk. But that also what helped that was like I moved away for like a year, and that separation happened, and now that allowed us to like reassess where everybody stands, and people had to kind of be on their own and not be on their own as if they were like depending on me, but it separated me so much that I was like, oh damn, I'm not in touch with everyday life no more, and it is tough like being a friend and like a manager because on one end, it could be like, yo, I know you're fucking up right here, but then as a friend I know your hardships. So it's like, I want to tell you to make this post or do this, but I know right now you probably you aren't having like the best time. Somebody's passed away. But at the same time, this work still needs to get done. So it's like
Right.
finding out ways to like still communicate like, hey, I'm here for you. By the way, don't forget this, but like I know you got it, but just know that this still is important. And that's like an ongoing thing. I'm still learning how to do. Um, like all my books, right? I have like a million books on my table right now, but I have all books are on like uh, communication, psychology, and just like music. Those are like really all things I've ever read. And if I wasn't in music and I really chose something I was actually good at, I would be a therapist because that's actually when I was in school, it's the only class I had that was like an AP class. That was like a high class that was like honors. I had an AP psych. It's the only class,
Oh,
the
wow.
only thing I actually studied that I actually like really enjoyed. Even to the point where even one of my ex girlfriends was like a long time therapist. She's like, "Yo, like you should be a therapist. Like the way that you communicate, like you're doing things that I've learned in school naturally. You just do it so well." And I'm like, I mean, I wish, but I ain't go to school like that, so it ain't happen.
Yeah. I mean, you've had the real life experience of navigating how to communicate with people, setting up boundaries with
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
and, kind of going through it in real life, I guess, rather than out of a book.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, how do you feel that you contribute to defining like an artist's music identity and sound? Like, do you think that you help kind of contribute with the creative process, or do you like kind of put up a boundary on that as well?
You know, with that, it really does depend on each artist. Because like I remember, it's funny when me and Trav first started, right? When me and Trav first started, Trav used to hate me because I used to always bring in like every day. It's kind of like this might be a bad reference, but this is all I can say. It's kind of if like how a kid can go on like a walk and they come back with like a cat, like yeah, I found a cat, and it's like yo, we don't want no cat. And I'm like
Right.
nah, this cat I'm keeping it. And it's like Trav's like yo, what the hell? You can't just go out one day to the club and come back and say you got a new artist. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, hey, bro, it's fire. I'm fucking with it. It is what it is. And that's even how the herd came to be, because like the herd wouldn't make sense if it was like one artist, But that's kind of how it expanded, and that's also why we have so much success because we're so spread. We're so spread across. Like Vic might be on this album, and Locks on this album, and this on this album. It's like everybody, and then what does it? It also expands my reach with working with so many different artists, vendors, different like groups. Like I just know all the people because I might know this one artist like Ketu, who's like deep in this art scene. So now I'm with Ketu over time. Now I know all these artists over here that paint and do this. So it just expands my knowledge just like a lot. But through basically doing that, I was able to work with like a lot of artists. And I remember me and Trav, we made like a graph, and it was like low maintenance to high maintenance. We should put every artist in like, okay, who is the most low maintenance artist we have? And at the time, it was like Locke. Okay, Locke's the most low maintenance because Locke can produce. He can write his own music. He can record himself. He don't need anything but like maybe some motivation, some time, and like a strategy when it's time. When he's ready, he only needs us when it's time to actually put the music out. All right,
Mhm.
cool. Okay, who's like they needed our time all the time. And there's one artist we're managing like this girl, and like she wanted dance lessons, she wanted this, she wanted that, she wanted this. Like, okay, she's high maintenance, so we'll talk to her every single day because she's gonna be irritable if she don't like hear if she don't hear from us, and we should monitor it like that. And then so now when I look at the artist now, when I start working with artists, it's like who naturally has like good ideas, who's like naturally like in the studio, like has the muscle to like they want to record often, um, and who just knows when they're doing something good. A lot of times, artists might not know, or they might stumble on greatness and then walk right past it. You know what I mean? Like, and that happens all the time. And they sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes you have to be like a mirror to show them, like, hey, this thing you did right here, this is like the best thing you've ever done right here. And they're like, what? That thing was whatever. But then you play with other people and everybody's like, yo, that song, that's the one. That's the one. And they're like, what the hell? But that's normally what happens with artists. Like it's always a song that artists hate that always becomes their like biggest song. It's always when you think no one's looking or nobody cares, and that you think everybody cares about. That's the thing everybody sees. So I like to be around for everything. I mean, I will help with as far as production, as far as like if I hear a chorus in my head or if I hear like a melody, I'll like send like a voice memo. I'll like make it. I'll like send it to them. Some days, like the other day, like I spent like some hours. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like downloading samples so that next time Vic has a session, I can just give him stuff. He can just like start making the beat faster. I try to like help out as much as I can because at the end of the day, we are all like reflections of each other. So I need y'all to be the best y'all can possibly be, so that I could feel like I'm the best that I possibly am. You know what I mean? And I can only be as good as you guys are. So I just need everyone to be like at their best. So yeah, I think when it comes to working with the artist close, I'm definitely there for like the ones that like make sense. Like sometimes an artist is too new. I don't like to be too involved in the process. I'm like, let me let you find yourself just a little bit, and so that you don't feel like so you don't feel like your ideas are like my ideas. You know what I mean? I gotta let you have some type of freedom, but then I'm gonna come in after X amount of songs and be like, hey, so these 3 songs are the ones. You're gonna be like, no, it's not. And then we're gonna play on people. They're gonna end up being the best ones. And we're gonna be like, okay, so now those songs are the best ones. What about those songs make those songs the best ones? And then we'll expand on that, and then we'll try to like build a sound out of that, or like, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of been my approach with it. Like, I am like very hands on because, you know, once again, if I've been doing everything, like if I'm the manager, I'm the A&R, I'm the marketing, I'm the
Right.
bank, I'm everything. So I need this thing to be as great as I like it if I'm going to be the one doing everything behind it. So, so yeah,
Right.
so that's kind of how I've been so close to music for sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to management and like picking my artists.
Yeah. I mean, but I feel like you've also witnessed a lot of, just like even outside of your management,
Mhm.
witnessed artists who have kind of like grown exponentially, like an Armani White and so many others that you are around. What do you think is the through line of successful artists that you've witnessed?
Man, as of 2023, well, I'll say as of I guess the 2020s,
Mhm.
um, I say it's artists who don't take themselves too serious.
Hmm.
And I don't mean it in a sense of like just go do some crazy ass shit and like, oh, I gotta have a gimmick, I gotta have it. I mean it in a sense where like you have to be open. Um and you have to be open with intention. Like obviously you're not gonna take any idea, but you're gonna be willing to hear every single idea and just see where things go. And you know, you have to be open to give and open to receive. You know what I mean? You can't give something with like a closed hand. So you just have to be open. And the artists I see, like a Armani White, he's like he's very receptive to the world around him, and he's very open to like, okay, let me try this or let me try that or damn, I want to do that or how can I make this my own? Like it's like you guys are artists, like you guys are like great talented people, and art is literally making something yourself and making it your own. So when you're on social media, he's somebody going viral for rapping somewhere in the middle of the street. Don't copy them, but you're an artist. How can you make what they did your own? Like, how can you make this your thing? You don't have to copy anybody, but how do you make that type of impact happen? And I feel like sometimes the artists aren't open to that. Sometimes they say that I'm locked in, and you're too locked in. You need to open up and see what the hell is going on because you can focus on one thing too much. And sometimes artists can like be too open. And they just don't have their own like identity because they're just doing whatever, and that's also bad. Which is why I said being open with like intention is the main thing because when you're open with intention, you will allow yourself to be who you're supposed to be. When you're ego based and you're like, this is who I am, and like I know myself, and all this other stuff. I'm not doing that. This is this. It's like you're just only blocking your own blessing because you don't know what your version could be like. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Stop worrying about being perceived or being corny or being this or be that. Like, nah, like if you solid, you solid. I can do I can hop on this call with my little pink fur hat or whatever. I can do whatever. No one will be like, yeah, it's gonna be it's Gary. Like I'm confident in myself, so I can do whatever. I can do whatever I want to do, and no one's gonna stop me, and no one's gonna think anything of it because they know that I'm confident. So I
And
think,
you'll be successful in it because of your confidence.
and that's the same thing. Like artists got to be confident when they do stuff, and be like, all right, bet I'm gonna do this, and it'll work. It'll always work. Now, how much it'll work, we don't know. But it's
Right.
it's never going to lose. Like even when you post, like I don't, it ain't gonna work. I mean, you got 10 likes. Okay, you didn't get 100. You still got likes. You still got something. Every time you always got something. So do it again and do it again and do it again. And when you do that, you'll start to open up whatever it is for like yourself. And I'll close off with this. Like I used to always say, and people used to like look at me like I was crazy. I was always saying like I don't have like people ask me like Gary, what's your plan for yourself and how do you like plan to be who you're gonna be? And I'm like, man, like I have very big goals, but I don't
Mhm.
have routes. And people say people without a plan, that's a plan to fail. And honestly, for me, I think it's kind of the opposite because I think sometimes if you have a plan and that plan is too baked in, the moment something goes wrong with that plan, you're gonna panic, you're gonna freak out, you gotta be free form. You gotta be able to see, like, look, from my house right now, I can see the Hollywood sign right now. I know it's that direction. I just keep walking that direction. I'm not saying I gotta go up La Brea or go up this street. I'm gonna keep walking that direction. I'm gonna end up at the Hollywood sign. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but I'm gonna get there because I know the direction. So I think having the overall direction and what the goal is, that's more important than having like the overall plan. As long as you're making that step and you're doing it, you'll be fine. So
Right.
that's my take on it for sure.
No, I love that. That's good. Nice.
Yeah.
Like how you put it that way.
Yeah, because
But one topic that we love to talk about, actually,
oh man,
especially at Guin,
oh god,
is self-sabotage.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was. I don't want to say it like that. If I'm wrong, but I knew self-sabotage was coming, and it makes sense. I was talking about that last topic. Wait,
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. So, what are some examples of self-sabotage that you've seen or witnessed an artist do? And and how do you also like kind of navigate them out of it as a manager or even as an A&R?
man, man, self-sabotage is crazy. I think one of the things. I guess I'm piggybacking off what Chanel said, but I think it's. I always say this: like artists on social media all day, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like some artists they do just enough to complain. Like you're doing just enough to still complain about stuff. Like you're not like when the last time you really gave your complete all? Like I did everything I could. They can't say that. Can't say that. But you're gonna do just enough to feel like you did something to complain. And I mean to
Right.
say, like, for example, artists will go in studio and make all these songs. That's what's up. That's fire. But
Okay.
like, what else? Like, what are we doing with that? You know what I mean? It's like you're working hard as hell and you're doing just enough. But
Right.
that's not enough. You know it's not enough. You know how I know you know how I know it's not enough because you're on social media and you see these other artists blowing up every day and you're looking at what they're doing and you're calling it corny and you're calling it weird and you're being mad and you're comparing yourself to them and you're wondering why you don't have their results. You're not doing what they're doing. So how can you ever complain about not having these numbers, not having even something close, not doing what they're doing? That's like me complaining like I don't have a six pack. I'm going to the gym. I know I don't go to the gym. I know I don't go to the gym. And like I swear to God, I definitely want to be in the best shape of my life. Like, I want a six pack back. I want to be like the most fit. Every summer, I'm like, I want to be walking around like a freaking Baywatch model. But like, it don't be happening. And like, I don't feel bad because I know for a fact I just had freaking Joey's last night. I had some pasta. I was doing this. I need to sit up. I ain't work. I ain't been to the gym in about 2 months. I'm
Mhm.
still paying for. And it's funny. I get the little charge on my car. Like, damn, Planet Fitness. I'm like, damn.
Oh no.
I'm like, damn. I get it. And all your mind's like, damn. I'm still paying for this. But
Yeah.
you can't complain if you're not putting in all the work in. And that's just one of the things that I feel like, that's sabotage. Like, you're literally watching everybody do everything, but you're not doing anything. You're only doing one thing. It's like I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're not competing. Like, yeah, you might
Right.
have fire music, but like it's just like having. I saw an interview the other day. It's like an artist is like a goddamn exotic car. It's like it looked nice. Everyone thinks it's a nice car, but if it don't got no gas in it, it ain't going nowhere. So it's gonna be
Right.
parked. It's gonna get its tickets. It's gonna get towed eventually. It's gonna get towed,
Right.
and now nobody got a car. So you got
Yeah.
to figure out how to put some gas in it if you ever want to go anywhere. Um,
Yeah.
but I think another artist sabotage is like I think just going against certain rules. Like I feel like we're in a day and age of like DSPs be like 6 weeks, 8 weeks to upload. Even us as a label, sometimes we be like we might try and beat it, but we still try to like aim for the 6 to 8 weeks no matter what.
Yeah.
Or like even longer.
Yeah.
I think with artists like they'll be like, yeah, probably mix and master it on Monday and drop it on Wednesday and be like, damn, nobody fucking with me. It's like, well,
You're right.
nobody is. Nobody
Yeah.
even heard you were dropping a project. And then you're gonna post it one time and think that your followers are gonna see it all. Like, and it's kind of this. You have 1,000 followers, right? If you have 1,000 followers and your page shows your insights and you post it and you got, let's say you get 100 likes, but your post say you got 200 views.
Mhm.
You didn't reach all your followers. So post it again. You won't even post it enough to make sure all your followers see it. You'll post it like 3 times and be like, yeah. If you go to your analytics and look at your followers and look at who's seen it, I guarantee you did not post your post more than what your stats say. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, you got raw data and everybody, data, it's not about the data. It's like, nah, man, I'm not even like, I'm trying to be on some like data shit. It's like, low, bro. If you got 1,000 followers, you post something and say you only got 100 views, I would post it 10 times. If I get 100
Mhm.
views 10 times, maybe that's 1,000, right?
Right.
I would think. But sometimes people just don't think. And that's also the problem, is that people just be doing stuff. And I feel like sometimes, not to like disrespect a platform, but because there's nothing to do with them. But I think the mindset, when artists were on SoundCloud, they were just dropping music and they would just like circulate. Arts community was buzzing right there. Everybody posted. It just went nuts. Went viral,
Mhm.
and it would do its thing. I think some artists still have that mindset, like, oh yeah, like, because they came up seeing that, so they're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do what I saw coming up, and it's like, well, no, this is your era, this is your time. So what does your time look like? Like, that platform isn't going to help you no more. It's just kind of like if you try to like put your song, I don't know, on the newspaper on the back page, like, damn, nobody saw my song. It's like, does anybody your age read the newspaper? What are you doing? Like, what is your age group doing? What is your like generation doing? And I feel like people aren't doing those things. They're just doing what they saw their idols doing and hoping they can do the same. And then when they get there, they're trying to do it and it don't work. You know, back then you could have a whole Instagram and no face and just a bunch of blurry pictures and be like, yeah, he's so mysterious. This is nice. Damn, I like him. And you try to
Yeah.
do that now, it's like, oh, you're born, you're weird. Moving on. So
Mhm.
you kind of got to figure it out. And I feel like that's the main thing. I think artists aren't paying attention and like really applying the things that they can apply. They're purposely leaving out something because they just don't want to do it. So
Right.
that's to me is like the ultimate self-sabotage right there. Just like, you're not even trying to do the thing that you see other people doing at all.
Right. Good point.
Mhm.
So, who are your inspirations, Gary? Like, do you have any artists or music professions that you really look up to and aspire to kind of
You know,
become similar to?
this is very tough. I have very crazy, I have very controversial people I look up to.
Okay.
But it is what it is. I'll say it. I
Okay.
think for me, in like, with the context of like, for each person, I like to pull something from them for a specific reason.
Mhm.
Now, that don't mean I would do the things that they did or do what they do. Just,
Okay.
just context.
Oh boy. Okay.
Because for me, I would say, like, for example, Suge Knight. He was like,
Yeah, that's what I thought you
terrible person. But I don't think,
and the like
I'm not gonna,
preface you gave to it. I was like, it's gonna be Suge Knight.
but it's not on some like, yo, like, oh man, like, I'm not, and once again, I don't know what he did or didn't do, you know what I'm saying? That's not my business.
Right.
But what I will say, I do really, when I look at, and I don't want to intimidate people, but I think that in this day and age of the music industry, a lot of people are getting away with it's funny, getting away with murder for things, and there's no repercussions to it. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying something has to happen to somebody, but I think there has to be an element that people think that something can happen, like some type of conflict. It don't got to be physical. It don't have to be anything. But I feel like people feel like they can do whatever, and they don't have to answer to nobody. So I do, when I look at like a Suge Knight, it's like, well, nobody's going to steal from his artist because
Mhm.
they know it's going to happen. They know something's going to happen to them, whatever it is. And I feel like that's important because like there needs to be a buffer of protection. Like, damn, people need to double think. Like, damn, should I do this? But if they feel like they can just like rob you, they're going to rob you. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I feel like that, like pulling from Suge Knight, like, yo, having a having a presence that instills like, okay, let me not do whatever to this guy because I don't know. I feel like that's important. Like, yo, he's everywhere. He's all his videos, doing all this stuff. And it's
Mhm.
funny because people look at me the same way, which is funny. The funny thing is that I've never asked to be in a video. actually, I'm saying this on record. I've never actually been in a video.
Mhm.
Everyone's always asked me, "Hey, Gary, can you be in my video?" And the videos I've actually been in, I have not been in. So I've never actually been in a video in my entire life. People really will hit me up. I can show you emails, texts like, "Yo, can you be my video?" I'm like, "All right, bet for sure." I'll pull
Right.
up. Now I'm in this scene doing some crazy shit. It's like, damn, look at Gary. Gary's on the
Mhm.
video. It's like, yo, literally, they literally put this part in the video for me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like literally. So whatever. But when I look at that, I look at there's a reason why people pay for marketing and they pay for visibility.
Mhm.
A big part of my brand and me getting other opportunities or me meeting other artists or me doing all this stuff having people been able to see me. If I never post on social media or I never done certain things, nobody even know Gary Biddy exists. No one will care for my story. No one know what I've done. No one know anything. I don't have like a resume just floating around the air like, hey, look at me. Like there has to be some type of awareness being made. So when I look at someone like a DJ Khaled who's like he gonna plug himself no matter what. The new goddamn Drake thing. He walked out with a sign that said, I got two Drake songs on my album. It's like, hey, now we know. You know what I mean? Like you can't say you didn't see him. So everybody's seen Drake and everybody's seen DJ Khaled behind Drake. Like I feel like those things are important. Um, so yes, I'll say Suge for like, obviously like just people not wanting to play with you. Khaled just for like being like visible.
Mhm.
Um, and then obviously Rick Rubin in the approach of like, you know, when people do meet me and sit down with me, like we can actually have a real conversation and it's not always like me with the grill or turned up on Instagram or laughing. Like, yeah, I'm a fun person. I'm gonna have fun, but I'm also very serious. I actually come from like a very like spiritual background, and I'm not always playing. Like I'm like, and I'm always fun, but I'm not always playing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, someone like Rick Rubin, like the way that he approaches artists and makes them like strip down and like makes them feel comfortable enough to make their best music and make their best art. That's something that I've been able to do for artists or just people in general in my life. Like people meet me and be like, damn, like I told you my life story. Like how'd you get me till I do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm chill. Like I'm not chilling. Like I'm not tripping on you. Like, I know how to create like a safe space but make that force people to be who they like want to be.
Right.
I just foster that and I just push that and I just like push that because you know how I'm gonna come. So you might as well
Mhm.
come as you gonna come because I'm gonna be me and I want
Right.
you to like be you. So I would say Rick Rubin in that aspect of like making people feel like vulnerable enough to like get them thinking to like really be who they want to be and just different like musical practices like just like talking. We might have a session and talk for like 6 hours and then we'll make a song. But we made a lot of like uh we made a lot of like just made a lot of like progress of getting to know each other. So now the next time we can get straight to the music. It's easy. Like it's nothing now. You don't have to feel in there and feel nervous and feel like, what if I sing and I'm not a singer and Gary gonna judge me? Like I know you're not a good singer. Like just go, but like go sing though. It might be hard. Like
Yeah.
so I think that is good. Trying to think if I have. Um, I mean, I always say Thanos, but that's just me being funny. Um, I mean, Thanos did what he had to do. People say he's evil. People say he's
Exactly.
evil. He saw
Yeah.
the world ending. He was like, "Look, to save y'all, I gotta blow half this world up."
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? That's crazy because like you got to care so much to do that. But Marvel is hilarious for that. But I do think like sometimes in like music or like situations when you do care deeply, you're gonna have to make a tough decision about somebody, about yourself, and somebody's gonna get hurt eventually. Somewhere in your life, somebody's gonna get hurt by a important decision that you're gonna have to make. So
Mhm.
pulling from movies, stuff like that, I feel like is very important. And then I would say like the number one person I would say is Soundwave. I've been grateful enough to just see him work up close, and just him just be like a friend, and just seeing how he carries himself. Like I'm still actively trying to find a way to carry myself the way he carries himself, and I just can't do it because he's just like superhuman. He like he's very calm, he's very chill, still very expressive, even within all that. Like
Mhm.
the smallest expression is like a big expression. But like he just the way he treats business and treats friends and family is just very like it's all the same. Like it's kind of like that theory, like how you do one thing is how you do all things. He's like that. It's like you can always expect him to do the best to every single way. The way he designs his crib, the way that he raises his son, the way that he makes music, the way that he dresses, the way that he does everything. It's like, yo, this guy is just like, how are you doing this? Like, sometimes I see him, I'm like, yo, when did you do this? And he's like, oh yeah. I'm just like, yo, when the fuck? So he's somebody to me. It's like, yo, like I always aspire in the back of my mind, like, yo, like, and it also calms me too. It's like that's like my like, what would Jesus do? It's like, what would Simon do right here?
Right.
He wouldn't. He would. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. And that actually have saved me a lot of stuff because, sometimes I could have. I have a quick temper, but I think sometimes I do. People will really play with your name or play with your respect. It's kind of like, damn, like what, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like kind of like, you know what? Just let the work reflect and not worry about certain stuff. At the end of the day, you're only one person. It takes too much energy to address everything or to like even try to convert everybody to like be your biggest fan or to like even believe in what you're doing. Like just do what you're gonna do. And that's the best you can do for yourself is just showing up for yourself and just doing everything. And when I basically look at him, it's like I can always count on him that he's going to do what he has to do, and that's something that I aspire to do as well.
Hmm.
Mm.
Love that.
So yeah,
One of my questions was going to be what your how like you take care of yourself. I think the lifestyle of an A&R
oh man,
is really hard.
I'll grab all my vitamins right now.
Yeah.
I have two. I actually have two right here on standby. I have stress relief,
Wow.
and then I have this other one I take every morning.
Okay.
And it gives memory, focus, concentration, learning, and accuracy.
Okay.
But I
You also
mean,
touched on spirituality. Does that kind of
yeah,
help you as
I
well
mean,
in your
yeah,
daily life?
I think for myself, like, like I'm very spiritual in the sense of like I'm never preaching anything. I'm
Mhm.
never trying to like, oh, you should believe in this. I believe in this, or I'm never having those type of combos. I don't even. Your thing is your thing. I don't really give a damn. Like, if you can believe in this goddamn bottle cap, this bottle cap gives you good luck, and every time you carry it, you got good luck. Shit, that's your shit. Do that. Like, I'm all for whatever works for you. Works for you. For like for myself, I'm just very spiritual in the sense of like I carry myself in a very positive, like very very positive way, extremely high moral compass, and I just don't want to do anything that's like bad. Like I just don't like, I can have like a bad thought and that would make me feel bad. Like, damn, why do I think like that? And I'm like, damn, I'm a bad person. How do I even think like that? You know what I mean? I mean tripping out myself. But I think I just really like to carry myself like very like everybody's watching all the time. So I
Mhm.
always make sure I'm just doing like what I think to be is like the right thing. Because at the end of the day, all we have is our legacy, our name, and everything. And I just want to make sure that when it's all said and done, that people can look back on me and be like, "Damn, Gary had my back," or "Damn, Gary was a good person," or "Damn," like all the things that I know that I am. So, I guess my spiritual practice is just like making sure that I just do right by everybody while doing right by like myself. I don't want nobody. I don't want no like casualties of war because like, oh damn, like I had to do it. Like nah, like I always try to like find a way that everybody can win. And yeah, in most cases everybody can't. But in my story, almost everybody wins. You know what I mean? I always find a way that there's some kind of like middle ground or like teachable moment or something. I always leave somebody with something. Um,
Mhm.
so that's my like practice. I always just make sure that everybody's good. Um, but
You're definitely a very positive person, Gary.
yeah, I try to be, and I think also having a big,
Like, it's very hard to like actively really be positive and to like instill that positivity in other
yeah,
people.
yeah, and and sometimes people can be crazy like, oh, of course you can be positive, like you have such like people now be like, oh, of course you're positive, you're doing this now, you have this. It's like, bro, listen, I was this way in the past, like you know what I mean. Also, me having my past what made me positive. I used to be very negative. I used to be super negative. Like what? I
Mhm.
used to be the most negative, pessimistic person on this planet. But because I went through that and I saw how it affected my life, and I saw how like it can be funny sometimes, like being pessimistic, like just being negative. Sometimes it can be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, but
Mhm.
it doesn't benefit me or anybody else when I like do that. And I can still be positive and still have my same sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna laugh. I'm still gonna do my thing. But yeah, being positive. That definitely will have people like targeting you.
Yeah.
I've been targeted time and time again my whole life. People like, why he always smiling? Why he always happy? He knows something. He doing this. It's like, bro, like I can't just smile. Like I don't know what happened to you, bro, but I'm just happy to be alive. Like I'm just happy to be here, to be honest. And I
Yeah.
think even me carrying that makes people feel uncomfortable. But people don't understand, like, also for myself, I'm like a late bloomer. So everything that I'm getting in my life, like I'm just now getting these things to happen. So of course I'm gonna be like a happy ass kid because my kid self is like, yo, we lit, we here right now. This is we didn't know we were gonna be here. Even talking to y'all at Guin, like I'm still working on my passport. I had a passport photo for June the 3rd. I didn't do it.
Love that,
I didn't do
Gary.
it, but I'm still working.
Next up, driver's license.
Yeah, extra driver's license. Yeah,
Yeah.
and people like, what? He don't have a driver's license. It's like, exactly. I don't have a driver's license. I don't have a passport. I haven't been out the country. I haven't done so much. And with me knowing that, it excites me because these things are all on the horizon. So, of course, when you see me in London somewhere and I'm smiling from ear to ear, I'm like, I've been to London 10 times. Why are you happy? It's like, it's my first time.
Hmm.
I'm going to be happy. So, and I'm like encountering a lot of my firsts. So I'm going to be happy. And then when I work with artists and I help artists get there first, I'm happy that I'm seeing them get there first. So I'm happy
Right.
again. So I'm always
Yeah.
smiling, bro. You can't stop me from smiling. Like I'm gonna be a happy person because I was. It makes no sense to me to be sitting here mad for what? Like I tell people all the time, like, and they be mad at me, but I say like, being mad is a choice. Like you're choosing to be mad. Like you can
Mhm.
easily find something to be smile about, and I don't give a fuck what's going on in your life. Like something can happen. You can definitely laugh about something. And if you don't want to, that's on you. But I will find something to laugh about. My sense of humor is built that way. I will laugh at anything. I will find something.
Mm.
So yeah.
Love that, Gary. It's good. But we all need to learn from you.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
gotta laugh, man. Just I don't know, man. I feel like we take ourselves like so serious. And we should. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like this shit is still like they always say like nobody knows what they're doing. It's like it's like nobody knows what they're doing, and it's crazy because the higher up you go, the moment you meet that person you think can tell you the thing, they
Mhm.
never tell you the thing.
Yeah.
And that is hilarious to me. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna finally reach the point where I can probably ask somebody like, "Yo, how'd you do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just did so and so and so and so." And like I can't apply that to my life. So
Mhm.
it's like, it's really about just running your own race and just enjoying whatever you see. Like, just enjoy it. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all you really can do at the end of the day, or that's the least you can do. Because it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be some bad shit going on. So if you're gonna be mad at everything, like everything affects you, you're crazy. That's crazy. I ain't doing that. No way. I'll be mad every day I wake up. We should be mad right now. We should be mad in this car right now. The world is tweaking right now. We could be mad as
It is. Yeah.
but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna be positive, and we're gonna laugh.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
not laughing at the bad thing. We're gonna laugh just because laughter is good.
Right.
You know.
We need to put that energy out into the world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, last question
Yes,
that
ma'am.
I like to do is an icebreaker question. So, your question is,
Yeah.
do you think emerging artists should get advances in their deals?
I would say. I would say yes, and the reason why I would say yes is, and advances can range. It could be anything from 1,000 to
Right.
whatever.
Mhm.
But I feel like getting something. There's something about like because not every artist gets a deal, right? And I think
Mhm.
there's a psychology of a deal feeling like you did a deal. Like you gotta negotiate. This is like a huge milestone. So
Right.
having money to like celebrate that milestone or having something like, yo, I got this to go tell people about it, I feel like those things are like very important, a part of like the overall morale about the person like doing something. Now, sometimes it might not make sense. Sometimes the deal is enough. Like, yo, you got this much money in marketing and stuff like that. And that might be enough if they understand that. But I think
Mhm.
sometimes having a advance definitely does just instill the positivity. Like, all right, bet I did it. Like when people go to like the NBA, it's like we knew you're going to NBA, your whole life, but like they're still going to pay you because you're going to the NBA. And granted, it's a sport everybody's watching, and it's bound to make money, so that's a different business model for sure.
Yeah.
But like everybody wants to feel like they made it, and I feel like when they get that money, no matter how much money it is, it's probably the first money they've ever made in a lump sum off of music.
That's true.
Makes
Yeah.
them feel like, damn, I could do this for real. If you did a deal and you didn't get any money, you're gonna be like, damn. And then you're in the deal and then you never make any money because you don't recoup. You'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, damn, I'm just a failure. So, I mean, it's such a label to have to like want to put money up, but I think for the overall like well-being of the artist and just like motivating them and keeping their psyche up, like, yo, okay, I got 10 bands. All right, my next one, I'm gonna get 50 bands. All right, you better go hard. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna find out real fast when that other advance don't come. They're gonna find out. They're gonna be like, damn, what happened? It's like, oh,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it happens a lot of time too. Even when artists will get like a placement somewhere. They'll produce something, get paid out. Oh, damn, I'm going up. Like, songs going stupid. And they don't get another placement for like 5 years. They don't get another placement. They're like, damn, like, I thought I had it. Now they're hungry. Now they're like, okay, I gotta really get on it. So either way, if you get the money and you fumble it, you're gonna be motivated to get it again. If you get the
Right.
money and you do good, you get paid again. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna keep on doing good. But either way, I feel like them getting it in the beginning is good because when they don't have it, they're gonna be like, damn, life's real. So
Yeah.
I think
That's true.
that's something that's like, I feel like will be important for artists to get for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think in the history of Guin, we've always given our
Yeah,
artists advances. They're smaller, they'll get a smaller advance, but I don't
yeah.
think we've ever not given an artist an advance.
And some smaller artists got lucky. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree
Got
with
blessed.
you.
You know what I'm saying? Some smaller artists got blessed. So it's like, I mean, once again, every deal is different. Everybody's different. Different timings.
Yeah.
Things happen. So,
Yeah.
um,
I think as a label, we've like learned how to kind of navigate it as well and find the right number of like, will an artist be able to recoup this? And, you know, will we still make them happy with this size advance, but also kind of, as a business, be able to recoup this for them and maybe also give them the satisfaction that I recouped a deal.
yeah,
So
because
we're still
I mean, I would say, especially with like our deals, it's not like we're taking your masters and taking your life rights, and
right. Yeah.
your sneeze, we're getting paid off it. It's not. That's not like that. So, um, yeah, I mean, people look at labels. At the end of the day, people still look at labels, like yeah, money, bank, and it's like, but yeah, but like our terms ain't robbing you, so don't rob
Mhm.
us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not robbing you. You don't rob us. It's
Good.
50-50. We're a
Right.
team here.
50
You
on the
know,
masters. Yeah.
yeah. Those other labels, that's on you. You can do what you want to do over there, but over here, we're gonna do this. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but yeah, I mean, nah, I feel like we're definitely like growing, and I feel like we're growing at like a very like fast rate. And it's still exciting. It's still exciting every day. I get up,
Yeah.
I'm excited when I call. I'm like inspired, like, oh shit, what's going to happen today? Like, who we're going to meet, who we're about to interview, or what's about to happen. Like, I feel like there's still so much things that can happen that we know is going to happen that hasn't happened yet. Like,
Mhm.
it's just like it's just like a moment of just like staying in it and just really like seeing it through. I feel like it's like the most like important. I feel like people talk about like art, like artist development. This is also like label development as well. Like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
also a label is also an artist. Like we're like a living, breathing ecosystem. So we're
Yeah.
learning how to function. Same way artists learn how to make music that makes money. We're learning how to make a business that makes money. Like everything is like moving together. So. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like even that. I feel like even that mindset right there even makes us closer to artists because like we get you, bro. Like we want to win.
Right.
We want you to win. We're trying to win together.
Right.
Come on,
We eat as a family.
literally, literally. Never seen a penguin by itself unless
Never see a penguin by itself. We're a
unless,
huddle.
unless it's a meme or something, and that penguin's lost. But you know,
Exactly.
right,
Who's penguin?
right.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Gary.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, we did an hour. Look at that.
I know it went by fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.